Hey, good evening. This is D. Horace Towns, host of the Black Super Friends podcast. And tonight we are joined by the amazing, legendary Ivory Shields. It's going to be a good show tonight. Buckle up. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Super Friends podcast. I am your host tonight, the Horace Towns, joined by my three best friends that you know as the Super Friends. And we're joined tonight by our partner, one of our allies in this game. She is a special guest. I'll get to her after I introduce these guys. So I'm going to go to Chris Leo. Chris, the fashion designer, Leo.
Oh man, I'm glad to be here. We got special guests tonight. It's ladies' night. Ivory Shields, we so blessed to have you here. But I must tell you about the new hoodie line coming through, man. Y'all got to start ordering now. Pre-order start now. Black Super Friends, support the hustle, and the hustle will support you.
All right, up next, Super Mario Senior. Please say the singing.
What's going on, man? You know, it's another night, man. We got a very special guest. She's been here before, so if y'all seen the first one, then just understand and sit back. It's gonna be even better this time.
All right, I'm going to the man up top wearing the latest apparel from the Black Super Friends. You know him as the ladies' man.
Good evening. How you doing, ladies? How you doing, fellas? Good evening, Ivory. Thank you for joining us again. We could not wait to have you back on. I hope you guys are prepared for our show, the Black Super Friends podcast, Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, some people like it raw. Hey, first off, I want to introduce
you old dirty bastard.
Yes, he is.
Hey, some terms of endearment, Chris. You just know how to talk to people. First off, people requested this show. They said you guys had an amazing show. And it flowed. The best thing about that show, it really flowed, and the YouTube views were high for it. And we say we had to make sure that we get her back on because we love what she's doing. She's a healer. She's trauma-informed therapist. She's a life coach. She's a podcast host and author. But now she's an actress. You've seen her in the Aretha Franklin story. Our friend, Ivory Shields.
Ashe, my brothers. Thank you. Always great to be back amongst gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're welcome. We'll try to keep it together. We're going to try to keep ourselves together.
I got you.
Let's go right into it. Last week, we talked about the dog. We talked about Earl. We talked about the legendary rapper. I can't even say rapper, icon that everyone around the world knows as DMX. And everybody around the world knows who DMX is. Man, I sold out shows. But I think all of us fell in love with his transparency over the last couple of years where he shared his success, but he also shared his struggles. He also talked about his alter ego, Damien. I took a lot from his segments, and that brother has passed on to glory. And we really wanted to make sure we mention him on this segment. And I wanted to play something that's actually funny before I go to the guys because he was just a charismatic person. So whether it was rap, whether he was talking about Christ, prayer, he just found a way to make something DMX like. So I'm gonna play this clip that I think is funny and it captures the essence of DMX.
Those reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw him, you would even say it close. Come on! All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, "Come on! Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you ride my sleigh tonight?" Then all the reindeers loved him, and they shouted out with glee, "Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, you go down in history forever. You go down in history forever. You go down in history. What?
All right, sorry if it was in the glitching, but I just thought that was so hilarious, man. DMX was always something with DMX, and we cannot forget the movies. One of the movies he made was iconic, one of the hardest intros we ever seen. I'm gonna go around the board. I'm gonna go to Super Mario Senior first.
Yeah, we as we look back on
Thank you for checking in. Head over to the Black Super Friends
DMX.
Podcast Facebook page. We are going live right.
Go ahead.
As we look
Thank
at
you,
the
Ivory.
yeah, don't we appreciate it. You know, we're gonna have some special guests tonight from all over the world, thanks to Ivory. But as we talk about DMX, his life and then his trials and tribulations and his brilliant talent, he was just so filled with energy, life. And I heard Swiss Beats, not to make a long story short, the other day talk about how much he poured into everybody else and how much he prayed for everybody else. And it kind of hurt me because he's saying that sometime as his friend, you know, because he's one of the closest people, that sometime him going to jail was the only time he had peace. And it just made me want to vow to myself, because I know we spend a lot of time on this show as brothers, but to make sure that I check in more, I love my brothers more, and I make sure that I'm just not always taken from them, and sometimes I'm giving them, and you know, in this reciprocity, as Tootie say, being dished out amongst each other, because sometimes we'll have a strong friend and we'll lean on them so much that we don't understand that, you know, it's almost about to break them. So we want to say from the Black Super Friends, rest in power, my brother, and everything about your life was iconic, and you left so many jewels here for us to carry on in teachable moments. So we thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Turn your mic on. You
Ladies
are
man.
a professional.
Ladies man.
All right. So the dog was a profound character, man. DMX, rest in power. From his prayers, as we just showed you guys, just him freestyling. But his prayers sounded like a rap too, because they were melodic, but they had meaning. And one thing that we were talking about is you cannot deny that God was in that brother. From the clips that you see of this man out at the height of his career doing the Rough Riders, taking the mop from a Waffle House employee so that he can mop the floor. You understand what I'm saying? That's humbleness. And he was teaching that. He always poured into everyone else. And it's one thing that I looked at as we were looking back, because we kind of forgot about DMX, to be honest to you, up until the verses. And even in the verses, he still showed that he had it. But his fun-loving spirit, even though, you know, some people were making fun of the dog, you know, because he was acting like an unk, but that was his age. The man passed away at 50 years old. He was still enjoying life, even though he had been to the pitfalls. And that's one thing that I wanted to say about DMX. To be able to hit the heights that he did and to fall to the valley that he did, but still keep that humble spirit of always wanting to help others. That's something that if you didn't take anything else from him, I hope that sits with you and you try to implement that inside your life for the individuals who, now that, you know, he has gone on, kind of realize that we didn't pour in to that guy enough, or even probably take some of his tutelage as he was giving it, as he was going through. So, you know, again, rest in power to DMX. Definitely an iconic guy, and we're definitely gonna miss you.
Chris Leo.
Man, this is a tough one. If you was around early 2000, you know the impact DMX had. I always like to think of DMX as the Tupac that got to live a lot longer. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got a chance to go from the hero to the villain to the martyr. So, man, yeah, I think that this is a tough one. Like, this is a tough one. The Nip one was tough. This one is kind of tough too. But the bright side I've seen, I don't know if it's true, but they say that Jay-Z and Beyonce is not true. Oh, well, we ain't gonna even say nothing about it though. But yeah, that's a rest in power, my brother. Rest in power, man. You will be missed.
Ivory, what are your thoughts?
Oh, wow. I have so much to say. I'll try to be brief. First and foremost, I appreciate DMX for coming here and doing what he did. DMX was most definitely a vessel. a vessel who was called to reach masses, to inspire and give and provide hope and instill hope in the masses. And he did it in such a way that it related to a lot of people. He spoke in certain groups of people's language. Everybody doesn't resonate with everybody. DMX resonated with a certain group of people. And what I love about him, and I like to think of him as a wounded healer, because he not only he not only talked about, shooting them up, and I had this conversation with someone else. One song could be talking about shooting somebody, and the next song he could be talking about praying. But here's the thing: what I love about DMX was his authenticity and his ability to be unapologetically him, and to show us he was living proof, an example that we all have all these different layers to ourselves, to our personalities. He just showed you that. We've all thought about smacking the hell out of somebody. Some of us thought about killing somebody, but we may not cross over that line. He talked about it. He showed that. And so not only did he talk about being the tough guy and being very macho and alpha male, but he also showed you vulnerability. So he wasn't afraid to cry. He wasn't afraid to pray. And why I think he's so iconic and so influential to a generation of people, is even myself, and as someone who was raised on hip hop, who came up on hip hop. What I love about him that I don't see a lot of artists now is that he showed you all of the different sides of this industry. So he showed you that, okay, here's the glamorous side, but let me open up the curtains and peel back the layers and show you what's really going on underneath the surface here. Shit ain't all good. Yeah. And that's what I loved about him. And there are not a lot of artists who are doing that right now. And so, yeah, rise in power to DMX. He will be missed dearly. He was iconic. And yeah, that brother came here to reach the masses, and mission accomplished.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Rest in power to DMX, Earl. I want to ask y'all a fun question that I couldn't even come up with an answer for. The one that we had in the advancement was, what's your most controversial opinion? And I know someone that's good at having controversial opinions, because my inbox was lit this week with the dating tips from the date doctor. So Chris Caesar Leo, what's your most controversial opinion?
Well, I'm going to bring it back to 2 shows ago. I said it on the show that I didn't believe that it was necessary to love a child, the woman's child, just because you got with the woman. I didn't believe that it was necessary. I got met with a little opposition. I remember Zay saying something about, well, what if the father isn't there? I was like, well, that's never was said in this situation. And in that situation, it was like, if the father is there, then he would get inheritance from the father, the mother, and that beat out your child. DeMario told me something about saying I had to have a conversation. I personally don't believe that you should have to have a conversation about just human decency. Like, this is something that you would not want your child to go through. You wouldn't want your child to be, you would never force your child to love me. You would never, if I told you I only love you because of the baby, if I told you if I only love you because of whatever reason, you wouldn't want that type of love, because it's not genuine love. So I don't understand how it's okay for us to be forced to love somebody when no one else her father don't have to be forced to love me. So I that's my controversial opinion. Now, Horace also said something about, he brought up a situation about his stepfather where they came and brought all the kids food except for him. Now, I personally was in a situation with a stepfather. My stepfather adopted my sister and not me or my brother, right? Now, in my mind, that means he loved them, but I never ever was treated differently. I never got less. I just feel like he probably loved her, and I don't hold that against him by any means. So my thing is, why is that necessary? What do you think about it, Al?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, he just took it a whole. He just went and said gas.
Man,
Woo!
this shit been
Okay.
bothering me. This shit been bothering me
We
since
had
For
it.
2 weeks.
that day. Dog. I ain't been able to get over it because I don't understand that. But okay, enlighten me.
Well, I mean, I can only give you my perspective as
Okay.
as I don't have children, number one, but I was raised by a single mother. So I have experience. I don't have experience with a stepfather per se because my mother never married, but I do have experience with her boyfriends. And let me just say, to take on the responsibility, everything that comes with a child is a lot. And to take it on from a child that you didn't bring here, that's even more of a big deal. That's a huge responsibility. And so I don't I don't fault a man for saying, "Hey, it's I don't have to love your child." But then on the flip side of that, if I were a woman in that position and a man standing in front of me whom I love, who I want to marry, who I want to bring into my house with my children, I have to look in the mirror and ask myself, why am I accepting that?
But what am I
Because
What are you accepting? That doesn't change the fact of me being able to provide for your child because that's what you should want: provision, safety, and protection. And that's what you can provide that without loving. I don't. That's not necessary in love though. That's duty. And I think a lot of black men have. I know men that don't even love their wife and still stay and have because of duty and how they. That's how they feel like that's what they're supposed to do as a man. That's not. I don't know how that's necessary. But go on.
I think that also what's important too is to define what love is, because love is action. Love is more than just, and that just may be the way that you show love by being the provider, being the supporter, and making sure that they're taken care of, and but you're not there to provide that lovey-dovey, the emotional support that that child may need. That may not be your thing. That's probably not your love language.
But
Because
for
if
are you talking about me personally?
you personally,
No, that's not. I love.
yeah.
I always play with kids. I'm active in kids' life. I'm just really protective about my love. My love means that I would sacrifice for you. Like if you was hurt, I'm gonna take that bullet for you. So that's a totally different thing. I can't feel this. I'm not gonna feel the same way about people that I'm responsible for. This is just this is my you're not my sister. My sister, I feel that way about my sister. I feel that way about my child. It's hard for me to get that. I'm not saying I can't gain that through a personal relationship, but I'm saying I shouldn't be obligated to feel that way, just to be with you. That doesn't make sense.
Are you
I
passing out?
agree.
You passing over trauma?
Yeah, I agree that I don't think that you should be obligated to it. However, I do think because you feel that way, then it's probably a good idea for you not to date women with children. And that's just real. Unless there is a woman who is okay with where you are, who can meet you where you are right now, showing up in her life with her children, and you saying, "Hey, I don't have love for your children right now, but maybe I can grow into that." And
Well,
if she's accepting of that, then you got a win-win situation. But I don't know a lot of women who are going to be okay with that. And
But my not to cut you off. My point was, I heard y'all both say stuff back and forth because Chris, I wanted to quote myself right because what he said was right, but in the context of what I said, because you kept saying he should say something, he should let her know. He's saying, see, that my whole point was, you can't in the world if 90% of people think this way. It's naive to walk into a situation and say, well, I don't have to have a conversation with somebody when statistics and everything will show you that most women think this way. That was my point. I'm not saying he should be obligated. I'm saying do what you feel, my brother, but have a conversation. He's saying I don't have to have a conversation. So that means they're going to walk in this relationship and she going to be thinking this. And he's saying it's decency. You should just know this.
no,
I don't know
Don't assume anything.
not a conversation. That's all I was saying.
absolutely. Because here's the thing. When you put that out there, then you give me the option to decide whether or not I want to deal with that. But if
But
you come,
you're not. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm like this though. I'm like this.
it's fine. It's fine because I know you want to get your point out, and that's okay. That's cool. This is the dialogue, but it is whether or not. Let me rephrase what I'm saying. It needs to be that person's decision whether or not she wants to sign up for that.
But you're not giving her nothing.
Agreed.
You do it. You saying that I deserve the same treatment as your child does. The person that you expect to come and provide and take care of and possibly fall in love. I deserve the same respect. I deserve the same option as everybody else in this world. No one's better than me. I'm just as equal as everybody else, and I deserve the same treatment. You cannot give me a specially tailor a treatment towards me when I did nothing wrong to you and I did nothing wrong to that child. I'm saying that I shouldn't be obligated. You don't do that to you. You don't do that to that child. It's not right for me. I'm just as good as y'all. I shouldn't be treated worse.
So then what apprehension or do you have objectivity? Do you object to dating women without children?
Hell no.
Okay.
I love
Okay.
these baby mamas.
Well,
I've never ran into this problem myself personally. I'm just saying I've met women and I thought their kids, I love their kids. I'm just saying, why do I have to be obligated to? This is my choice. Everyone gets to choose who they love. Why is that not okay for me too? I ain't did nothing wrong to y'all. I ain't did nothing wrong to your child. I ain't did nothing wrong to you. And now you finna leave me? Are you crazy?
so
You crazy.
Well,
What? You know what? There go the door, Ivory. I see.
Well,
I'll holler at you. Somebody else get all this good loving.
well, let me ask you this though. If you put this on the table before you go into the situation, nobody's walking out the door because again, that gives you both parties come to the table saying, hey, I'm cool to sign up with this or I'm not. And we're not even walking into the door. We're having this conversation before we go into a door, before we establish anything. This is a conversation that needs to be had. And this isn't something you've experienced before. Is this something that someone you know has experienced?
Yes. What I'm saying is, it's sad that a day that men have to negotiate decency, decent treatment, just average treatment that everybody else get. It's sorry, but I guess I have to do that now in this day and time.
Well, I think everybody, mutual to treat people the way you want to be treated.
Exactly. Choose who you love. Choose. Make your choice. Just make your choice.
But if these are her children, though, these children are a part of her. And if her choice is, hey, I need you to love me and my kids, that's her choice. You can't hold that against her.
Well,
then you have to make the choice to say, I'm not signing up for that.
Well, I suggest she asks, if I was the baby mama, I would suggest to her to ask for protection, for acknowledge and respect. That could do love, worry about security of those children, provision of those children, and respect of those children. And I can definitely give you that. I give that to a dog. So I'll give you that for sure. You don't have to never worry about that.
You just compared the child to a dog, Chris.
No, I said that the parallel that I give that to everybody. The same common courtesy that's not willing to be given to me. Maybe something wrong with me or something like that. I guess.
Man.
So what if the child like latched on to you and y'all bonded? Like, are you going to just shut yourself off from that child?
I would never go into any situation saying I'm not going to try to love your child. I would never go into a situation saying that. I would never have nothing against a child. I'm saying, why am I obligated to? Why is it just an obligation? Can I get into this situation? Start dealing with you, gain a relationship with this child that's organic, and I love this child because we talk. A lot of people talk that talk. How many people gonna sign that paper to take over that child? And that's what my stepdaddy did. He signed the paper. All that other stuff is big talk. You telling that child you love, but take responsibility of the child. Sign over for him. So now that paper that you make go to that child, or you just talking.
I'm gonna say this and then I'll pass the mic. I think like this is a fabulous conversation, by the way. This is a great conversation. And I'm glad we're having it because, again, like I said, I don't have children, but women who do have children, this is a conversation that needs to be had with people you are dating. And I think it's fair to bring this up in the beginning because I don't know what the experience is. I don't know if the experience is women are automatically showing up to the table and saying, hey, you got to love me and my kids. If that's what it looks like, then that is the time for both people to have that conversation, what you're talking about. Hey, I like you. I want to get to know you and we'll see where it goes. But, you know, I feel some kind of way, being obligated to love
Anybody,
another
anybody,
anybody,
your
to
mama,
love anybody.
your daddy, anybody. I love you.
Ladies
I got
man.
love for you that can share, spread across the world.
Ladies man, what's your unpopular opinion?
I was gonna say, Chris, that might don't be enough to spread, but it's worth a try. You could try. My most controversial opinion, I think, I think is gonna be my honesty, my brutal honesty. And the reason why I say that is this. I think that was 2 episodes ago about the great Rocco's Tacos, the debacle that I had in my life, which has cleansed me. Right. And what it was at that point in time in my life, what I did was I wasn't straightforward. I gave an answer that was a quick fix answer, and it ended up biting me in the behind and looking like a lie. It wasn't that I lied, I just omitted information. Granted, my brother, the Horace here, dubbed me the great omitter. I hated that nickname so much that I made it my business to be straightforward with everyone. But the problem that I have is when I give my honesty, it's not the truth, it's the tone that they cannot take. And for me, like I said, that's the most controversial opinion that I have, because I feel like I'm just being straightforward with you and giving you a clear-cut answer without dancing around it. But then I get individuals who are offended by the delivery of sorts. What do I do with that?
It was just a question for the panel.
Right.
Hardy, you got anything before we go to the viewer question?
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
All right, Ivory, do you have an unpopular opinion? Because today I seen a clip. I was like, I ain't see that side of Ivory, but I truly enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did. Ashe, brother. Yeah. So, you know, I was having a conversation with someone and kind of like what I said in the video, and they said, you know, and this person was asking me questions about spirituality, and y'all know me. If you follow me, you know what I'm into. You know, I stand firmly in my truth all day, every day. And this person was like, you know, you need to be careful because you threaten people's belief systems. And here's the thing, I don't give advice unsolicited. I used to back in the day when I first began on this spiritual journey, but now I don't. I'm much more spiritually mature in my journey, and I don't give unsolicited advice. I live by when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's me. If someone comes to me asking me questions, if you're asking me questions, that's why I say be careful what you say to me. Be careful what you ask me, because I'm going to give you the truth. Now, my truth is going to do 2 things for you. It's going to make you, if you are not steadfast in your belief and what you have going on, what you've been in for all your life, if you're not steadfast in that and firmly planted in that, it's going to bring up questions for you. It's going to bring up things for you that are going to make you feel very unsettled. At which point you're going to have to explore what you feel, or you ignore what you feel. And I've been in that space, so it's a very uncomfortable space. So that's why I say be careful what you say to me and what you ask me, because I'm going to give you the truth. And the truth is something you're going to have to explore or ignore. And either way, it's uncomfortable.
All right, listen, I seen that clip. I said, well. I said, well, that was interesting. I think Chris seen it too. We was like, okay.
Gangster.
Yeah, we're seeing that other side. Hey, before we go to our Ask Ivory segment, we had a viewer question that we're going to answer. So make sure you guys give your input in the comments. Ready, Mario?
Hey, Black Super Friends. Just wanted to say, love what you guys are doing. Love the show. Keep that same energy going. We're here for it. Hey, I got a quick question for you. So, if a woman is dating a man seriously and they're on the verge of getting married, what if the woman asks him to sign a prenup? Is that a deal breaker? Questions that need answers. Just ask it for a friend.
Oh boy, then that's going to be an interesting one. Super Mario, you married? Go
Yeah.
first.
Well, I ain't never gonna break up over no money, and I feel like I don't need nobody to get no money. So I feel like if she want to keep her money, I'm okay with that too. And I do feel like whatever she accomplished on her own and I accomplished on our own, it's not even worth thinking about because what we're gonna accomplish together, we'll have to split anyway, and that's gonna be way more than what we ever did by ourselves. So I don't worry about prenups because if you had $10,000 and I had $10,000 when we met, together we're gonna have millions. So that little $10,000 when we get, if we ever was to have a divorce or something like that, we wouldn't be worried about that first little money anyway. That's how I feel. So I never worried about a prenup. But maybe that's because I ain't rich either. So that's just coming from a guy who, in the middle class.
Okay. Well, I want to say this. I
Middle
must say
class
that.
Mario.
Listen, one thing I must say is when you start, you're on cloud nine, you're lovey dovey. But I think from watching others, you should protect yourself respectfully. Because you guys might be in love, head over heels, but when you're angry, you're hurt. Man, I've seen people. I've had a friend that was going through divorce. He was like, "Oh no, we cool. We just separating." Da 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 da. And by the time they actually got to court, she had stripped them down. What they agreed on was out the window. So I just got to think marriage and love is easy, but the business side of it, I think, needs to be recognized for ladies, for both sake. That way you can both walk away on a level playing field or equal. Seeing some of the celebrities, that might be a different story, but I just think that when emotions are involved later on, you will be thankful that you did have a prenup. I'm gonna go to Ivory, then I'm going to ladies, man, then Chris.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that a prenup is good. If that's what you want to do, I don't have a problem with it. If you want to come in and protect yourself, and yes, marriage is a business. There's the love side of it, there's that piece of it, and then there's the business side of it. It is a partnership that you enter into with someone, and I think where we kind of trip ourselves up is when we don't have these uncomfortable conversations up front, like talking about prenups. I think they're important to have.
Ladies, man, you and Chris have not got to the altar yet. Are you gonna have a prenup before you go?
To answer the question that the lady said, I don't think there's a man alive that's going to not continue with the relationship because the woman says she needs a prenup, unless he was coming in to, capitalize on that relationship. It wasn't pure. So I don't think that would be a problem. And kind of just to piggyback off what Mario said, what we came in with is what we came in with. What we build together, then that's left to figure out how we're going to divvy that up at that time. 50-50, hopefully. But again, like Horace said, with his horror story, some people get cleaned out. So I don't see a guy that would be opposed to a prenup. What you say, Chris?
Should be. It should be.
Leo. First, I want to give a shout out to Crystal, CEO of Elevate, the Elevate Nation. She was also my walk down the aisle mate at Hardest Wedding. So shout out to her, Black Girl Magic. But to answer the question, I think this is a situation where you got to play the fool to fool the fool who think they fooling you. You see, anytime a person wants a prenup is because they want full control of their assets. In the case that there's a divorce, so they want to be able to divvy out their assets how they see fit. They want to be able to do what they want to do with what belongs to them, and I see nothing wrong with that. And I tell men all the time, man, marriage is a business. Marriage ain't. You didn't have to have love to get married because you had that. You probably had that before marriage. You had to have a kid. You probably had a kid before marriage. You probably lived with her before marriage. So none of these things was needed before marriage. So once you enter a contract, after you got to sign paper, that is a business deal. So all you got to do now is put on your big boy pants and negotiate a severance package because she made it about business. Negotiate a severance package, and I suggest you go big. Now, I also suggest that in that severance package, make a clause or some kind of verbiage where it isn't void due to infidelity, I should say. So, breaking that down, that means it doesn't get void for you cheating, because at the end of the day, you want to protect what belongs to you, and you want to be able to divvy out how you see fit, just like she want to do with her money. That's what I think.
Okay, well, listen, I do believe. Listen, I've just seen a lot of people that married for love, and they left with they had nothing. My dad got divorced. She took the ice cubes. She took the ice trays out the freezer, and he was hurt about that. That's all he said. She took the ice trays. Who takes the damn ice trays? I was like, damn, that was kind of gangster though. You know, he talked about that for years. He took the ice trays, so he couldn't get no cold drinks. But listen, I want to get to the best part of this evening, and that part is where we put Ivory center stage and let her flow and do what she do the things that she does. And I had a question that I'm trying to make sure I found. And this is from me because last time we actually after the show, the best thing about this show is after the show, me and the fellas usually will have. We could be tired. We end up saying we're gonna go and we be on backstage for like another 30 minutes to an hour talking about everything under the sun, and we check on each other. And I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we were still talking about triggers and trauma. So what I was explaining to Mario and Chris was, them after we discussed you, were saying like, hey, I think you need to get therapy because you mentioned your dad and stepdad and stuff a lot. What I was trying to explain to them was, hey, honestly, I never could talk about it. Now I talk about it because I feel like I've overcame it and I'm in a good position. And I actually feel empowered by sharing, some of those stories that used to make me quiet or make me trigger. So they thought I needed therapy, but I thought that, me talking about it showed that I overcame what I had went through. So my question to you is, how do you know that you conquered or got past the trauma or that you experienced in your past, Ivory?
Well, I think what you just said is spot on because now you're able to talk about it. You're able to now shed some light on things. Things have power over us and they weigh us down when they're in the dark. And we feel like they're so deadly and they're so strong and they're so powerful and they hold us back so much because we don't see them. We can't see them. But when we start to shed light on them, i.e. talking about them, then we see those things for what they are. We see that they're not so powerful. So that's one of the best ways to have these sort of traumatic events and these triggers to lose their power. Is to start shedding light on them and start talking about them. And so now it's a conversation that you have with your friends to say, hey, just like what you just said, I'm at a point now where I can actually talk about this and not break down. And that is a very telling sign that you are healing, that you are on your way to healing. Now, I will say this, and this may be kind of harsh, but your friends can be supportive of you, but I'll say it's not everybody's responsibility to hear about your trauma. And so a lot of times, we will unload on our friends, and a lot of times our friends or our loved ones aren't really equipped to handle that, to hear that, because a lot of times we have our own stuff going on. And so it may be overwhelming for us. So I think starting with having that conversation of, hey, I'm talking now, so I feel better. That's a sign that you can talk about it. And so now it's a matter of, okay, go and talk to somebody who is a licensed therapist, a coach, so that now you can begin to start bouncing these your thoughts off of this person who can give you some objective insight into, okay, what are your next steps going to be in your healing process. But I think being able to just talk about it is a magnificent sign of your healing.
All right, thanks. Mario, Chris, who up next?
Uh,
Mario. Oh.
You guys, all right. I got a question. Shahrazad Ali. You familiar with her?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. She's a book writer, a speech person. You should look her up. She's very
Okay.
inspirational and powerful, and she has a lot of controversial stuff she's wrote about too. Really, she started writing about stuff and she was trying to enlighten the black culture about the the ways of pork is tearing us down as a community. And on this whole therapy session, she was going from place to place. She found out that as she was getting a lot of men to get like, yeah, I'll stop eating pork. You know what? You make sense. You know what I'm saying? Their wives was like, nah, I'm straight. I'm cooked. Like I cook pork. This is how you're not gonna unsalt my food. So then she started really diving into the psyche of a woman. And what she started writing is she wrote a book in 1989 called A Black Man's Guide to Understanding a Black Woman.
Ah,
And her points in this book was like women hate. Well, most women, you got two different comebacks from this. A woman gonna say, I love it, I respect it, and do nothing in the book. And then other women gonna just straight out oppose it. Because she is holding women 100% accountable in this book on their part. And her whole thesis was, well, just to give you the backstory, her whole thesis was, we know the wrongs that men do. We know all their indiscretions and everything they do bad, but it takes two. So what is our part in it? And when she wrote this book, coming from a woman that's married, saying to her, my sisters, we got to stop doing this, she was getting hate mail out the roof. So that was in 1989. The opening line that she got criticized so much was, she said, black women disrespect and utter rebellion against the leadership and the authority of a black man is a direct cause of the breakdown of the black family. In 1989, that was her strong point when she did most of her speeches, and her speakings. And I want to know, I don't want you to speak for all women, but as a modern woman yourself living in this time, I want to know, how do you feel about that comment today?
well, I think that comment holds a lot of truth. Um, I do think that Black women, we are in a space collectively, and it's not, to your point. I want to make sure I am crystal clear. I am not talking about every Black woman.
Right.
I think that there is a large number of Black women, though, we have been conditioned to be this way. We have been conditioned and programmed to be independent and tough and take care of everything and do everything. And I'll be honest with you. When you have a woman who is taking care of everything, she's taking care of the house, she's taking care of the children, she's going to work every day, she doesn't have help, that will make you have an attitude. You will have an attitude. You will be mad. You will wake up angry every day, because I just believe women, we aren't built for that. We aren't built to take that consistent heat of going out in the world and making the money and taking care of the kids and taking care of the house and taking care of everything. It's a partnership that has to take place. So yes, we do show up with these attitudes, these bad attitudes, and our energy is just off because we are having to take on so much. And we're having to take on so much because of generational things that have been taking place from generations. Okay. Everything from, do I need to go down the line with slavery and bringing the the soldiers back from the war and bringing them back alcoholics and on drugs, ripping the Black family apart. So you have all of these systematic processes that are in place that break down our household, that break down the Black family unit. And so here you have the women. Here's where we've gone wrong. We have coined ourselves the strong Black woman. That has gotten us nowhere. That has gotten us in a pickle. We're very powerful. We are powerful individuals. Black women are powerful. But I caution women, and I've even had to stop subscribing to I'm a strong Black woman, I'm a powerful Black woman. But I think that just being this strong and taking on everything, it is really not benefiting us. And I think that because, here's the thing, when you say this to a Black woman, when you say this to a woman, period, this is the reason why. Okay, what's the solution here? I got to take care of my kids. I got to go to work every day. I got to take care of everything. So what's the solution?
I think not to cut you off, but I think my point is when I'm saying you this strong woman, you doing all of this, but then you like, Lord, send me a man. I'm here now. I think she was coming from that point of, okay, you a strong woman. You had these kids, you've been doing all this. I'm here now. You asked for, I'm here to take off the weight. I'm here. We dated, we courted. You see I'm this strong man. I asked you. You said I do. I'm here. And at what point do we say, put that aside?
Absolutely. It's awareness. And we have to hold each other accountable. So I'm going to get on here and I'm going to speak truth and tell you, sis, being a strong Black woman ain't it. It's not it. It's not helping us. We need men. We need or if you're a gay woman, you need a counterpart. You need a partner. You need a partnership to do this. It's difficult to do it. It can be done. We've seen it done, but we can't thrive. We're just surviving. So awareness is key. Awareness, and because collectively, we support each other, we hold each other up. And I'm gonna peel this back another layer for you. In the media, it's all about Black girl magic and putting Black women on pedestals and stuff, and that's great and everything, because we're out in the world and saying, hey, well, this what we're doing is great. You see us all over the media, all over TV being praised, but when we get in a room with our brothers, it's a different story.
But let me say something on that. That's fine. We'll take that. But what about the boys? Y'all ain't. I'm saying y'all. But I hope you understand what I'm saying. But why y'all not doing it for the boys then? I can understand you don't want to do it for the men. I get that. You don't want to praise all the time for the men. But what about the little boys? When you gonna start doing that? When you gonna start investing in little boys? Like, when is that going to be? When is little boys going to be priority in this community? If you want to say screw men, cool, that's cool, but invest in the little boys. I don't see women heavily praising little boys. So there's no excuse. No, you need to act right, and that's just what it is. You don't even praise the sons.
I agree with you. That's why I said, well, you got to understand, Chris. This is system. This is strategic. Okay, this is bigger than us. All right, mm-hmm. It's very, very strategic that the women are praised and the men aren't. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the thing that we have to be aware of and cognizant of. And so we have to collectively make that effort to praise our boys, because there is a very concerted effort to not praise Black men and Black boys, but just the women, because it's designed. The purpose of it is to continue this perpetual cycle of Black women just being strong and strong and strong, and the Black men and boys get left behind.
But, and then
it's giving us.
And then I'm gonna leave this alone because we can talk on this all day. But I just want to say this one thing. See, what you're saying right there, I think would be my reason why I couldn't wait to talk to you, because I feel like this. Right now we're in the 21st century, so we're woke. We're as woke as we've been waking before in our life. We the wokest of woke black people that's waking up out of a deep sleep. And black women are excelling at high rates. I'm talking about y'all blowing it out the water. But most of the time when I talk to educated, down to earth, and real women like yourself, you say the same thing. And then you articulately put exactly what's going on. But I don't see you holding other women accountable for their actions and stopping this. Because we could talk about it, we could say it's happening, but I'm saying, when is this going to be a push to say, hey, sister, you got to understand in every demographic of people, the men control the economy and everything. So right now, the system you're talking about is they don't mind pushing black women all the way to the top because you make us nothing, and you can't go to war with women at the helm. I'm sorry, and that maybe that's my stuff that I wasn't supposed to say. But we, as a people, that's why we keep losing, because the black people, the heads, the shepherds, the people who are supposed to be at the pinnacle are right here. And they're systematically doing it. So if sisters know that, when are they going to say, when are y'all, because we can't tell y'all, because then we're misogynists. Then we're women haters. So when are the strong sisters in the community going to stand up and say, you know what? Hey, girl, we got to stop doing that. We already strong. We strong. We got us. We got to bring these, we got to stop them from pushing our men down. Can you even say how that's going to happen?
You know, so here's the thing. We're like you said, we're just getting woke. We just woke up. We still, a lot of us people, you know, I hear people saying I'm woke, but it's a lot of fake woke people around here. It's a lot of folks who woke, they still got sleeping cold in the corner of their eyes. That's where we are collectively. So people are just waking up more, and I believe that the more we continue to wake up and the more people who actually speak out, I speak out about it all the time. You know, we need men. Okay, and I'm not, you know, I said earlier, I'm not for my opinion. My truth is not for the masses. A lot of people don't agree with me and don't want to hear what I have to say. Like, I have a whole issue with WAP. I got a whole issue with the fact that Maxine Waters had an interview with the Stallion. I got a problem with that. This is a woman in a very high position, Maxine Waters. Okay, a lot of people look up to her, and she's having a conversation and saying she supports WAP, and WAP is being disguised as, oh, this is women's empowerment. No, hell, no, it's not. It's not women's empowerment. It's another vehicle to destroy our communities, to rip us apart. It's another vehicle to increase or to force or increased hypersexuality among our young brothers and sisters, our young Black people. And what happens? You have more single parent homes. Where has that gotten us? To the point right now where Chris is saying, hey, I don't want to date a woman who got children. It's a perpetual cycle that we're in. So we have to continue to have these conversations. I think it starts here. That's the beauty of having social media, having these platforms, which is why I say I'm rooting for y'all. I want, and it's, you know, there's strength in numbers. We have to continue to have these conversations. That's why I tell y'all to keep going, because we're just getting started. So patient.
Ivory, always keep it 100. Ladies man.
So Ivory, I hate to sound like the co-captain of the She Woman Haters Club, but I'm actually gonna bring you my question from a point of understanding. All right. And the question that I have is because a conversation that I actually had earlier this week stemmed from a friend of mine saying that women have standards. And I was wanting to ask her, just speak to a woman to find out, what are these standards that women keep saying, right? And not only just what are they, why are you allowing them to keep you single? And the point that the reason why I'm saying that is because what I'm noticing is that the women who keep saying they have standards fail or don't want to compromise to get to that ultimate goal, which I'm hoping is marriage, that they're saying that they're holding these standards for, but they're actually blocking their blessings because the standards that they're using, so to speak, are, from my knowledge or what I get, off of TV or what they've heard friends say, but not necessarily the truth. The truth being, what is it that you really want yourself? And are you willing to get out of your own way to achieve greatness? I think why, I guess the question for me is, why is it so hard for women to compromise, given all the things that I've said right there?
Oh boy, gosh.
Gumbo.
It is.
Yeah, he told me every time he ramble on, I gotta say gumbo. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
But basically, that's basically it. So you'll say that I got standards, right? Why I'm not with someone, but then you'll have someone that's working with you or that's dating with you in a relationship, but you're not willing to give to get, so to speak. Why is that? Why is it so hard for women? And it's because you're a woman to compromise.
Well, I can't speak for all women.
Of course, but
So,
just a general.
I just want to put that out there because I just want to. That's a disclaimer, okay? I think a couple of things. That's a very the answer to that question is very layered. Beginning with, I just said I was just praising, social media, but the flip side of social media is the reality. Like I was talking about DMX earlier, he showed the flip side of the life he lives, the heaviness, the darkness, the sadness, the not so great walk in the park, peaches and cream part of his life. And so I think that a lot of women and men, but we're talking about women specifically, I think that we see things on social media and we have this perception of what we're looking for. Okay, so I think that's number one, not realizing that behind the scenes, all you're seeing on social media is a snapshot, something, a picture that this married couple who probably just finished arguing wants you to see. So I think it's important to be realistic and understand that, and how we get an understanding or how we grasp this idea that there's a reality that is behind this social media is really having conversations, having honest conversations, even couples having conversations. Like if you are a married man, having the conversation about the struggles, the issues, and I think a lot of times we get to where we don't want to talk, we don't want to tell our business, but you just don't know who you could be helping. And I believe nobody's gonna stop my hustle, my flow for what I have going on. I don't care how much they try. I'm gonna still do what I need to do. So you don't have to worry about people hating on you and people blah 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 blah. No, you sharing your story and talking about what goes on, especially when it's a big thing in our community, is going to help somebody. That's number one. Second thing is, I think it's important that we know we do have to have a reality check of where we stand and what game we're in. We're going to be in a game, okay? But just because you have football star qualities, and I'm just using an analogy, but you're trying to play in a game of basketball. So you got to understand your audience or your niche, the type of men that you're dating. So if you're the girl who's dating white collar men, I'm sorry, ladies, I'm just keeping it 100. You got to show up a certain way. They're looking for a certain kind of woman. They're looking for a woman that looks a certain way, acts a certain way, whatever, has this or that. If you're looking for a blue collar man, you got to show up a certain way. So know exactly what you're dealing with and what lane you're in. And then lastly, I'll say it really goes back to awareness and just knowing, okay, what my limitations are. I know myself. I need to know who I am and what I need. And because a lot of times, especially even for me, I'll take myself as an example. What I thought I needed back then, I really didn't need. I thought I needed it because that's what I saw everybody else talking about or saying, oh, you need this. But once I got to truly know myself, I knew what I needed. So I'm able to show up in this relationship and say, hey, I need this, 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 and this from you. Not something what I think I want, or my friends have it, or I see it on social media. Know thyself. Self-awareness is a gift, and it's one of the best gifts you can give yourself and people around you.
Thank you for that, Ivory. I was gonna say I know I gave you a lot layered, but I did want to touch on that because what you said at the end was kind of my own what I came up with too as well. Sometimes in life we think that we want a certain thing, then we get it and find out we didn't even want that at all. So stop setting yourself up was what I was aiming at. But again, I wanted the respective opinion of a woman as far as what are these said standards, because they say them, but it's just blanket or cliche, I guess. So I appreciate that answer that you gave. I hope that helped.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, women, again, not knowing your power, knowing the power that you have when you come together with a man who loves you and y'all are a unit. You're unstoppable.
Right.
You're unstoppable. It doesn't matter, what you start with. If you have two agreeable parties, know that you are powerful and you can and you can make whatever happen you want to happen.
For real. Sorry for the gumbo soup.
Yeah. 5 pots. Chris Caesar Leo.
Oh man, Ivory, I love it every time you come on the show. But I want to say something. I disagree with you with something. Like I strongly disagree with you on something. I personally like WAP. I personally think WAP is pretty good, and if you ain't never had none, the song I don't care for. But let me. I want to switch gears. My bad. I want to switch gears. I know. I wanted to ask you this question. I don't know if it's in the context of what's going on right now, and I don't know how Horace wanted to present this, but I have to ask this question. You are in the new movie Harriet, correct? I mean, not by Aretha Franklin. My bad. Aretha Franklin biopic. But on the internet, I seen that the family, was asking for a boycott and had a little disagreement with it. They personally said that they had nothing to do with the cast members, just production. I just wanted to get your thought on that. I think that it would be unfair for me not to ask a tough question when you come on. So I just want to switch gears and ask that question. How do you feel about that?
Oh, of course. And for the record, no, I've never had WAP. No, never had WAP outside.
You don't know what you're missing.
Outside of myself, I'm sure I don't. As far as the Aretha Franklin, listen, I'm just an actor, so I don't get into the behind the scenes. That's above my pay grade in terms of like what the family is co-signing and approved of. That's kind of out of my league to talk about. I can't really speak on it, but it's a great question. And, I'm sure they have their reasons. Hollywood can be cutthroat. So there you go.
I had a question before we go because it was the one that you thought that I was going to ask you. And I think one of the shows, I don't know if it's Chris or Mario brought up the question quickly though. You always hear about women yelling about they want security. And the question was, do women understand that men require security too? What's the trade-off? Like, is that a conversation that happens? And do women even realize it? Or is it important?
I think it is important. I think that we have to define security. I think that's the place to start. And for women, security is knowing that, at the end of the day, we're going to be okay. I trust that you are going to make the right decisions for this household. I trust that if I turn things over to you, we talk about it. If that's the setup, you may have an arrangement where y'all talk about it and then the man makes a decision or the man makes all the decision. Whatever your arrangement is, everybody is different. So I think for women, is trusting that that this man is going to make the decision that's going to take care of their household. We won't be out on the streets. We won't have to worry about our lights being cut off. We won't have to worry about, food not being in the refrigerator. This man is going to make a way. Okay. A man, I think for him, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a man. I think security is the trust issue, or having trust and loyalty. Loyalty to be agreeable. I think that's a big thing for y'all. And being loyal, being there. You're making the sacrifice and you're committing to doing all of this work. Because I understand when men go out, it's tough. It's tough for y'all to go out and do what y'all do and take care of the house and do all this kind of stuff. And you're out there every day working, doing your thing. You want that security to know that this woman is going to be there no matter what.
Word.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think it's vice versa, but you're right.
I mean, I personally never asked a woman for security, but when you break it down like that, I think that if I did want to define security, it would be, keeping my secrets, keeping your mouth closed. What goes on in our house stays between us. Just being able to trust you. Just being able to let you know the keys and let you know the passwords and things like that. That has to be a great level of trust. And if I had to define security, that would be it. Just being able to trust you, being able for you to keep my secrets, not knowing that your emotions won't make it so you posting stuff on the internet or you talking behind my back. Because I got you, my teammate. I gotta trust you. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think about security.
Also known as you want to feel safe.
I think that sounds a little softy, but I would rather say keep my secrets.
Listen, man, you got to become vulnerable, man. If you're gonna cross that threshold, you got to become vulnerable, Chris. You got to be able. The security that you ask for is that she trusts your leadership, that she trusts what you're saying in moments of defiance. Like, for instance, if someone's saying that you're doing something, Chris, she should have enough trust in who you are as an individual. That's that security that we as men ask for. I believe. I could be wrong, but that's just what I believe. I could be. But that same security you gotta, extend to them too as well. I don't care about no passwords and all that other stuff. You're right, but I'm just telling you.
It's all about semantics with Chris.
Balance. It's all right. It's about balance though with me, so it's okay. I just be wanting to understand.
Ivory, what's that?
I was sorry.
No, I was at. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it's all about semantics for Chris, but it sounds like what I was saying, that trust and that loyalty. Men want trust. Men want to be able to trust a woman. You want loyalty. You want to trust she's going to be there. You want to trust she's not outside looking for something else. And the security thing, I don't know. And I'm not with the ride or die business, because I see somebody put ride or die up there. I'm not with that.
What you with?
It's a two-way street. It works both ways. You do your thing, and you hold up your end of the bargain, and I'm gonna hold up my end of the bargain. If we dying, something went wrong somewhere. Because if I'm trusting you initially, and I'm holding up my end of the bargain, you're holding up your end of the bargain. I understand things happen. I understand things happen, and there is a way to get through those things for sure.
Right.
For sure.
Mario, you got one before we go? Because I surely have one.
Since we're talking about, let's just say you do get married. Just piggybacking off my first question. You know what I'm saying? Because the last time we left off, you were dating a gentleman, and I'm pretty sure that he's just counting down the days to pop the question to you. And let's just say that happens, and it happens tomorrow. Do the modern day women, I understand you can't speak for all women, but I just want to know, do y'all still believe in, do you or the women, do you think as a whole, like, a high percentage of women, do you think they believe in gender roles? And if you do believe in them, what does it look like in today's society of marriage or relationship or stuff like that? How does that look? How do you think, from talking to your sisters and women you come in contact with, what is the gender role? Because it's such a word that it scares so many people off. How does it look to you?
Yeah, so I do have conversations with my friends and people and women I know, and the gender role thing is really not black and white. So women working outside of the home in our society and in our civilized westernized world is a relatively new concept. For a long time, women stay home. So I do think that we're still trying to figure that out. But I will say this. I know a lot of women who are completely comfortable being in taking on the gender role in its full essence. Woman staying home, taking care of the home, taking care of the children, and all of that domestic stuff, and letting her husband do his part. And then there are women who are just not built for that. There are women who actually like to work. But I think that there is, if you, I think with anything, there's balance. And I think that there is a man out there who would appreciate that woman who actually likes to work. Like that would compliment them because we are all different. And I think again, just knowing yourself, I can't stress enough the importance and the value of knowing yourself so that you come to the table with that information. Hey, I'm the kind of woman, I can stay home, I can take care of this, I can do that. Because men who are in men who expect the traditional roles, they want the woman to stay at home, they want you to cook, they want you to do all this stuff. And you got to decide, you got to know if you can rise to the occasion, if you can fit that little mold. You got to know that about yourself.
Well, I think my question would be not so far back. Because I'm saying like 90% of the women right now work. So I'm saying, so how does the gender world look for working women? Women who go to work. Women, like, do you think, because it seems like if you go to work, gender out the window. I'm saying, is it a way that you can say, like you're saying, like, what does that median look like right now to say, I go to work, so I can't stay home, watch the kids all the time. But what does a woman, I don't want to say place, but hey, it's our show. Place look like for right now in today's society? Because we understand that you not sitting home washing dishes, hanging them over the line no more.
I think it just depends. And that's just an honest statement. Because everybody's going to be different. Right. But I think that there's value in a partnership. I think there's value in communicating what these roles are. It depends on what your schedules are like. Communication is key. If you can't communicate, if you can't establish and talk about those expectations up front before you get engaged, before you walk down the altar, if you cannot communicate those expectations, hey, this is what I need in this relationship. Based on the responsibilities and the obligations that I have, this is what I need in this relationship. Both parties come to the table having that conversation. I think that's the starting point because it's going to look different for everybody.
I want to say my unpopular opinion about a matter that happened today. So we got probably like 18 minutes.
And I'm single, so I'm sorry. I'm no longer dating. So
see there.
Listen. We'll put all her info up at the end of the show so we can have a stampede come through in the inbox. But I had a question for Ivory and the crew because it's gonna be unpopular. Nick Cannon, and I had to call his name for example. Nick Cannon is having his 5th or 6th child from a new chick. She's bad, she's pretty, she's a model, whatnot. But he's having his 5th or 6th kid from this woman, right? So my question kind of is, because I was telling someone earlier that I feel like even though you can have 30 million, and even though you have the ability to take care of them kids, I feel like it's irresponsible for us to be just having kids with no intention of creating a family with that person. I think earlier I didn't really see the impact of it, but now seeing it, having kids with no intention of being with the mom or having a family or getting married, I feel like it's not building our kingdom up. But I wanted to also pose a question a little different because there are a lot of females out there that go after Future, Nick Cannon, because they have money and saying that I don't have no intentions of being with him, but I know I'm gonna get I have a nice lifestyle by having kids from these people. So I don't even know. I think my question is, do we require some accountability to call this out? Like, man, this is not impactful for us. This is not building. This is like setting up bad examples because we're starting to have kids, and those kids not going to get that attention. They might get your money, but they're not getting the attention that they need. So I wanted to ask what your thoughts was. I'm gonna ask the crew their thoughts because it's become a trend, and I just have an issue with it somehow.
Yeah, man, my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't think it's helpful for us. I'm a huge advocate of normalizing two-parent homes. I think all of these single parent homes and single mothers, I think it's really doing us a huge, gigantic disservice. And yes, the financial, he may be able to take care, future him, they may be able to take care of these children financially, but there is something to be said for a family unit. We cannot build wealth, the wealth that we think that we're building right now. Everybody's investing and everybody's doing their thing, but we really can't build real generational wealth that makes us a solid community until we get back to establishing two-parent homes or strong black family units. That's my opinion.
Chris, what's your opinion on my controversial statement?
Well, it's a lot there. It's a lot there. Like tied into the other conversation that we was having, because me and my dating coaching, I try to advocate for the average man. I think that the average man is a little better than the high value. As far as high value means, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time working to provide for a lot of people. I believe that when you get with an average man, he gets more time, and I think that with that time, we're just as good as parents as any woman. Like dads are just as good at parenting, and I think that that's what happens when we say that we put all that responsibility on the dad to pay all the bills. He doesn't do what he's really best at, and what he's really best at is parenting. You know what I'm saying? So when you enter in a partnership with an average guy, I think that he's getting off at 5, and guess what he's going home to do? Parent his kids. You know what I'm saying? So I think that and also with this situation I think that the worst thing is a one parent child, not a 2-parent child. I think that I don't know if it's the best thing. I mean, I think it may be better to be in the same household, but it's the best thing that you can do is give your child both parents, however that situation may be. That the daddy might be in a relationship, the mom might be in a relationship. Now you got the power of 2 homes, financially power of 2 homes, focusing on that child, sending that child to college and things like that. So I focus more on not having one parent instead of just focusing on being with the person, being in the same household, because again, shit happens, man. Shit happens. Like we be out here and things happen. So your first baby BM might not be the one. That just happens sometimes. I think maybe we should put some more value into it. But if it happened to not be, that ain't a death sentence. You know what I'm saying? Stay in that child's life, give that child 2 parents, and that's the most important thing. And parent, like fathers are just as good. You know what I'm saying? We put more fathers in the household to guide and lead more instead of just telling them go out there and work yourself to the bone. I should be sitting here because I'm some superior parent than you. That's craziness to me. We're just as good. That's how I feel.
Super Mario.
I think you using Nick Cannon was the perfect example of a misquoting of what's going on in this world, because what's happening is Nick Cannon was married to Mariah Carey for a while. He had 2 kids by her. He got divorced. Then he dated the girl for another time for a while. They got engaged, had kids. So that means he's being intentional on trying to be this guy you're talking about. And I think what he's not doing is what Ivory was speaking of. I don't think he's actually understanding himself, and he's getting into stuff looking for love. And then when it gets to the finish line, it's some kind of debacle. But I think he does understand, because if you ever hear Nick Cannon talk, he understands the power of Black family. But what's happening is, I think it just something that he's missing in the situation, because now he's having 2 more kids with another woman. Like, so it's like, I was married, I got a divorce. I think this is the one again, and I'm having kids, and then it don't be the one, and then I think this is the one again, and I'm having kids, and it's not the one. And I think what Horace is saying is true, because I feel as a guy who, my first child, I'm not with my child's mom. My second child, I'm with that child's mom, and I can tell you, it's stuff I didn't know I was missing by being there every day, that I never would have known. It's stuff that my son do now and look at me. It's like little stuff I catch and I can tweak on a day-to-day basis. That's to me, it's more impactful than I was to my daughter. My daughter turned out great. And from the outside looking in, to whoever's opinion, you might feel that way. But as a father to my child, I know I could have done more, been there more. I know my power as a man. And I know she needed me every day. Every single day, every minute, because I am who the power flows to. I'm the matriarch. I am her protector. This is who I am. This is who I believe. So I feel like right now, my son is just soaking it up. I can see when he runs to me every day, how he just sits there and watch me shave my head, like all that little stuff like that. So to me, I was intentional on saying, I'm not having another kid until I get married. Like I don't want to go through that again. Like Chris said, the first time I was young, dumb, I was just out here. But I seen the effects of that. And I was intentional. So I feel like Nick need to be a little bit more intentional on saying, let me make sure my relationship is solid as best I can. Because we all humans, we make mistakes. But then we got to understand the difference between a mistake and a pattern. And it can't keep happening and happening and happening. Then we say, give us grace. I'm sorry. Stuff happened. We can't use that stuff. It keeps happening. If I keep running the stop sign, even if it's in different spots, I got a problem stopping at stop signs. We got to call a spade. And I think, not to talk all along, because I know Zay want to go, but I think that just as me, and I don't want to Derek Jackson the group, but I feel like as men, because that's why I'm a man, so I can only talk from a man's perspective. I think we really, if we say we're kings mean that your responsibility has to be at a higher level. It just has to be on our actions. We can't say, well, blame the woman, blame this. No, blame we have to blame ourselves. We are the power. You can't push shame and blame. No, this is Nick Cannon's fault. Stop it. She wasn't raping him. Put on a condom. You're a millionaire. You can say no, she's not gonna leave. So I do believe, to answer Horace's question, that it's setting us back, and we need to be more intentional on saying, bro, our actions are not just gonna affect us. Now we got 3 different sets of kids who are going to be raised in 3 different parts of the world, that no matter how much of a parent I can be financially or on the phone, they can't grow. They don't even have the luxury of growing together and learning from each other, because my daughter's part of her mom and part of me. So now you got 3 different moms, 3 different grandmas. Like it's just so much going on right there. And as a dad, it's going to be so hard to push your cattle back into one line. So he got to do better.
Ladies man.
He 100% got to do better. He's leaving a wake of destruction, whether he believes it or not, because he's missing. So some child is going to feel left out, going to have an issue where daddy wasn't there or something to that effect, no matter how much money he has. And he has to become more aware of himself or who he is. Like Mario said, as a king, you do got to know your power and understand, what type of king it is, whether you are a humble king, a generous king, a savage king, whatever, you're still a king, my brother. So you got to run your kingdom in that way. And I don't think that you're doing a good job of it. But I'm not a professional. I would think that it stems from the relationship with Mariah Carey, because when he got Mariah Carey, he was so in awe. He thought that was the end all be all. It never worked. So like you said, Mario, he gets in these relationships because he knows his emotional intelligence and where he wants to be, his awareness. And he knows where he wants to be. However, there's something at the finish line that's hitching him. And I just, from the outside looking in, think that it may have been something with Mariah that's stopping him from the other women that he got in these long relationships with and then had children with from sealing the deal. But that's going to trickle down to the kids. That's what I get from that. But I could be wrong.
All right, listen, we got to get out of here, but we're going to do the lightning round. Each one of y'all got a question because when we have Ivory, we always want to make sure we highlight and interview Ivory Shields. So I'm going to go to each one of you guys with a quick question for Ivory because she's sort of a big deal. She's a positive vibe, and I'm glad for I'm always glad that you come on air with us, and I'm glad that you support us. Quick question. The lightning round. I want to ask you, you're a healer, you're a therapist, you're doing so much. How are you balancing that energy? Because you're giving out so much. What are you doing to kind of keep yourself balanced?
What a fantastic question. I have to be very, very intentional about taking care of myself and creating balance. So you name it, I do it. I'm out in nature. I take spiritual baths. I do lots of stuff. I go out to dinner. I spend time with my friends and family. I listen to music. Anything. I have a toolbox of things that I do. My little self-care things that I do that keeps me in balance. And I have to put it on the schedule. I have to carve out that time.
All right, Chris Leo.
I want to ask a question. The last show wasn't that long ago. What happened to the dude, man? What did you do? How did you mess it up? What did you do? What did you do wrong? Did you apologize?
I am not answering that.
You can't just be out here in these streets loving and leaving them. You can't do that. You ain't no gangster. At some point, you got to hang up the cleats, man. Chill out. Real.
Yes, this is true.
Super Mario.
I think that the piggyback, but not piggyback on what Chris said. Since you single now, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of dudes looking at this like, man, okay, she speaks like,
God.
She's gonna be easy to work with. You know what I'm saying? From the outside looking in, you know what I'm saying? Because she knows herself. So I know Atlanta. I stay in Atlanta, so I know Atlanta's. It's it's the place of slim pickings, so women say. But if a guy was gonna approach you, what are 3 things that you automatically look for to say he might could get me? But here's the caveat.
I'm a dating coach.
Here's the caveat. If you're not first attracted to him with your eyes, like what could a guy who you're not physically attracted to at first, what 3 things he can do to you that make you say, you know what, I'm gonna give this guy a try?
He has to be spiritually open. So has to be spiritually open, spiritually connected. Like I can't. Someone who is very closed off when it comes to spirituality. Yeah, gotta be open to that. You might see me with some crystals on or some jade on, and and I'm just saying like at a first impression type thing, and if he's asking about it and thinking it's like the devil or some stuff like that. So have to be spiritually open and spiritually aware. The second thing is funny. I like to laugh, and I really don't take myself seriously. I like to let my hair down behind the scenes. So someone who is naturally funny. And last, confidence is king. Just being not, if you're out being kind and speaking to people, being friendly to people, that speaks volumes to me. And just being able to strike up a conversation with someone that you don't know, I think speaks to a certain level of confidence. But confidence is king. Confidence is king. And I just want to add something too. fellas, this is a PSA, and I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to the viewers or whatever. If you meet a woman who is tall, I'm a tall girl, and the first thing you say is, "Wow, you're tall."
Amazing.
Just know that we are going to automatically believe that you are a man who is insecure. You may have had a shot, had a chance with that woman. She might have thought you was cute, had a shot.
Yeah.
But the shot just became a brick when you said that.
That's good.
No,
I
but
never,
it says, though.
I never knew that.
Don't be that guy. Unless
What if
It's like short women.
What if that's what he liked? Like, damn, you tall. Well,
Chris,
damn,
you know that women.
Brick.
like, what if you like that? Like that. If you were pretty, he would say, "Damn, you pretty." Or you were thick, he would say, "Damn, you thick." Why can't he say, "Damn, you tall"?
it's
Especially if that's what he liked.
it's a way to say it. You can say, "Oh, I love your height." Or I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it just sounds so. And then please don't follow it up with maybe I'm just short.
No.
You just put the nail in the coffin. But
Look,
I'm just telling you,
Guys don't say short.
We from Florida when we say "Hey, red," we say stuff like that. So I'm sorry, I don't know about that one. I might try.
25 years ago, that would have worked, Chris.
I know, but it's the confidence
that was
though.
his teacher.
It's the confidence though. The way I'm gonna say "Hey, red," you know, with your tall self.
You say, "Hey, red."
Look, no, don't go nowhere. Girl, don't miss out on your blessing. Girl, don't miss out on your blessing. Do not miss out on your blessing. Do not. Where you going? You got to slow down. Don't run away. You gotta slow down. I can't catch you if you don't slow down.
I ain't gonna say hey red. I'm gonna be like, hey, little Hawaiian silky.
Yeah. You gotta be an original.
Be original.
You got to.
Please be original. And I think that's where that humor and confidence comes in at. Don't be afraid to it's a chance you take. It's a risk you take. Don't be afraid to take the risk. She might say no, hell no, get out my face.
So you like a hunter?
Yeah.
So you like a hunter? You I just want to make that just put that out there. You like a hunter?
All women.
Okay.
Men,
hold. Quiet in the set. What you said? The last part you said?
Men like to hunt, and I think that most women want to be hunted.
You just made my night. I can go to sleep.
They're hunters and they're gatherers.
Yeah.
That's how I can
go to sleep.
And I'm 5'9.5" too. Because one sister asked how tall I am.
She sure did. Ladies, man, you got the last question, man. Lightning round.
I'm gonna actually give you a pass tonight. You did well. We appreciate you because you definitely but you actually touched on the question that I had earlier inside of Mario's question, which was, why do women feel the need to be toe to toe or chest to chest with the man that they said that they want to protect, provide, and protect, provide, and love them? But you kind of already went over it, so I didn't want to beat a dead horse. But that's something that a lot of men are conflicted about. We just don't get it. We don't understand, why that happens. So I think you did a good job of explaining it. I hope that the women took notes like Chris did, and I hope that the guys were listening too, because you dropped some gems. The key one is that cologne. That confidence is like cologne. They need to know that. I think a lot of guys are afraid of rejection. That's why they become gatherers and not hunters.
Hey, can I slide one more thing in? I know Tootie gonna be mad at me, but I'm gonna just have to take the slashing. So one more question. How important, since you gave us that good politically correct answer, how important is looks to women?
Oh, with a man?
Yeah. What's his chances if he Quasimodo with all those things you just said?
Not quasi.
So I'm gonna speak from my perspective. I think for women, I think chemistry is everything. I think chemistry goes a long way. For men, it's like y'all want us to look right at right off the bat. But for women, I think it's chemistry. It's that chemistry. I don't think, me personally, I think we have preferences in terms of like a body type, but I think at the end of the day, it's about chemistry and being attracted to that person. Because one man who's very handsome to a lot of women may not be handsome to one woman. It's all about that chemistry and what she's actually attracted to. So like looks aren't the biggest thing for us. It's about attraction and chemistry for us.
Well, I see someone in the comments giving their confessing their lies. Looks are like number 4 on the list. Ah, spare me. Because the first thing y'all do is do that scan.
But those are the answers, not the point Vanessa at. Because I'm saying she speak for a lot of crowd of women who say stuff like that. Like, oh, we don't really worry about looks, but then I never seen you with an ugly dude.
Right.
It's
Right. Time of day.
Date not so good looking guys though.
But to them, they might. I'm saying because what you said is like I'm saying to. I don't think a girl is saying, "Damn, I got a caring, sweet, ugly ass man." Like you might think he ugly, but I'm saying to her. I'm saying to her. I don't think women just going and saying it don't matter, girl. He ugly as hell, but he caring, he's sweet, he's funny as hell. I got Richard Pryor wrapped up in Quasimodo, but I don't give a damn.
Right.
No, I don't think that's happening.
No, we don't.
I don't know. That ugly make them forget. Hey, it's funny. They forget, dog. Listen, jokes took me a long way in life.
Chemistry.
Hey, listen. I can show you some pictures. Nobody cared about me growing up, boy. I had to get my jokes on. I was hurt.
See, that's why we say you need therapy.
Boy, I was a hurt looking kid, boy. I was hurt.
Get him a glass, Chris.
Whatever. Hey, so Ivory, closing out. People requested that we did a show with you. You came back on the show. We see you doing your thing. Movies, podcasts, the books. And honestly, I know they want to check out your podcast. Where can people reach you? And what can they look forward to seeing from you in the next couple weeks to the next couple months?
Yeah, so follow me on Instagram first and foremost. I am Ivory Shields, and you can go to my website, IamIvoryShields.com. I will post when I'm going to launch my podcast on there and when all of my events are taking place.
Okay. Do you promise to come back on again?
Of course, I will always come and hang out with the 4 Kings, of course.
Okay, and when you have your show, we want to be guests. We would love to be, I don't know if you're going to NBC or ABC. We don't have a preference. We want to be on that couch.
1,000%.
We should be top 5 too.
Say this episode. It is agreed.
That's
so,
receipts.
Boy, hey, that's a deal right there. So thank you guys. Hey, everyone, reach out to Ivory Shields if you want to or you want to help us, hit the share button. So I'm going to closing comments fast. I almost forgot. Chris Leo.
Man, I would like to thank you for coming on the show, gracing us with your presence. It's amazing every time you're in the building. We appreciate it. And but I do want to shed light on another person that we personally know in the movie business. Shout out to Javon White on his role on Thunder Force on Netflix.
Yeah,
Thunder Force on Netflix. He from the crib.
He from the
561. Shout out to that brother. Black excellence.
Yeah. Shout out to Javon White. He bought my breakfast this morning, actually, which was interesting. We've been friends a long time. Love that guy to death, man. Super Mario Senior.
I want to say thank you again too, because I know that every time you come on, it may not be today and it may not be tomorrow, but a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to get a lot of knowledge and a lot of healing. And I think that's what you do. You speak for a culture that a lot of men are going to be happy to hear that there's still women who think like that out there. So we want to say thank you. And we want to say if everybody can focus your eyes to Chris Screen, just understand the apparel that he's that Ron, his mannequin, and Zay has on the shirt too. It's going to be on sale. What better way to be walking through the airport than to have on the Black Super Friends stuff and everybody asking you, what is that? So you can push them right back to our YouTube, Facebook, and everything. So make sure you do that. And once again, I want to say, hey, congratulations on your role in the Aretha Franklin documentary. Because that was, and y'all should check that out because it's dynamic. And keep hope alive in Atlanta, man. Because the next time you come on here, man, I know your DMs are finna flow it over. So, I'm gonna ask you again those same questions. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, hey, I feel the same way. When we get off air, I'm gonna say, release the hounds.
They coming.
Latest man.
Ivory, I'm definitely tell you thank you for gracing us with your presence, your knowledge, the beauty. I think that the guys, because we're not nothing special to look at. So
Hey,
you may have brought in a guy.
Chocolate
Hey,
Thunder.
Gumbo. Hey, Chris.
Listen, you just said it.
Gumbo,
Chris,
Back to what,
gumbo.
back to what I was saying, Ivory. And I was talking to you. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm quite sure the women appreciated you as well. They don't like these guys that much either. But you dropped some knowledge, and I hope that they took to it. So thank you for that, and we look forward to seeing you come back.
Mexican gumbo,
I'm also
Louisiana gumbo,
yeah.
gumbo and crawfish.
That's all right.
Zay, I know you have high self-esteem. I'm gonna ask you to wear a shirt next time.
Just don't wear that loose neck ass shirt you got.
Ivory, do you have any closing comments?
Again, I just want to say thank you to your viewers in the comments. Thank you for having me, for welcoming me. I appreciate you. I do what I do because for other people. My mission is to pour into other people and really be an advocate for the value that's found in knowing yourself and healing. And so thank you again for having me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every one of you, and I can't wait to come back.
All right. Signing off from the Black Super Friends podcast. Hit that share button and check us out on YouTube because last time the views were off the hook. So check us out next time. Black Super Friends signing off with I am Ivory Shields. Luego.
Bye.